Welcome to the Yugoslav Rally Championship. Today is round 7, the ACO rally. We are here in the heart of Croatia, right near Zagreb, to watch 2 legs of rally over 167.2 exciting kilometers. To kick off leg 1, we have Blisnitz to Šestine. Our first driver on the road today is Connor Higgins in a Ford Escort Mark II RS Group 4.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Maria, and welcome to everyone watching this video. So I'm gonna give you a wee rundown of this series. So by now, this is season 2 of our Yugoslav Rally Championship, and it's mainly factional, so it's only based on the actual Yugoslav Rally Championships, and we're using cars that have been produced before 1990. And it's mainly tarmac-based series with the occasional gravel here and there. And well, it's pretty difficult in general, so this rally will be 15 stages, and Connor took it upon himself to be the first to run this event. And well, he's never had it easy, as first he is driving one of the slowest cars in the field. Second, even in dry conditions that we had for the entirety of this rally, it's very difficult. As you can see, it's a very narrow, very windy road with a lot of hairpins, which doesn't make the task easy for anyone who attempted this event. However, fair play to Connor, because he actually managed to score an overall 4th place on this stage, which is really great in terms of setting up himself for a great rally overall. And over the course of this video, we'll see how he and many others did throughout this very long and very difficult rally. By the end of the stage, it kinda straightens out. However, that doesn't make it any easier. The guardrail is still very close, the mountain on the other side, and every now and then some various objects on the track side that make sure that you have no chance to make any mistakes here. And this is the final chicane as he enters it absolute flawlessly, and then he crosses the finish line, and that was worth for a 4th place on overall. Next up we have Maria Janka from Serbia. She's been doing pretty well for herself ever since she entered the series, usually finishing around the top 5, and if I remember correctly, she's been finishing on the podium for the last 1 or 2 events. However, this one has been starting off for her a little roughly and went a little wide. However, it looks like she managed to get away without any damage, so she could just continue and try and get in a good result. And actually, I need to check what the result was. Yeah, so she finished P9 overall after the end of that stage. Obviously only in that stage, so still 40 more to go. So it's been a long, difficult rally for everyone, I believe. And she's nearing the final chicane, makes a little contact with, and then she crosses the finish line as well. Next up we had Al from Indonesia, and he is driving the Opel Ascona, if I remember correctly, but let me quickly double check. Yep, the Opel Ascona. It's a Group 4 car. It's a rear-wheel drive car, so not the easiest one to handle. And he also had a pretty rough start by stalling in one of the hairpins. And he's making a little contact with the guardrail as well as he's nearing the end of the stage. Pretty much the final straight, couple of faster corners after, and then the final chicane, and then the finish line, as he is entering the final chicane. Car looks a little damaged, but obviously it's still running, so not a big deal. Next up we had stage 2, Stoj Dragatu Hartje, and we have the mastermind behind the series, Ivan Berte Gregas from Croatia. He's the one running the show, and he's driving the BMW M1, so he's driving a Group B car, and as many others, that's also a rear-wheel drive car, and it's going a little wild in this corner, but he still can continue as the car didn't suffer any damage. And here we can see him entering the village, trying to keep it on the road. However, unfortunately, he lost the back end and hit that rail at the bridge, which took him out of flag 1. And then we have stage 3, Ostrc to Vodice, and we have Dimitrije Badjevic on the stage. This personally to me has been one of the most difficult ones, and he's actually pulling a really great drive around here. And overall he's been pretty good throughout the entirety of this rally, finishing in the top 3 on most of the stages, so an absolutely amazing drive that he's been pulling off. And he's driving a Fiat Abarth 131, and he even had some time to do some spectacular spin in front of the spectators. So yeah, he's been driving pretty fast. If you have time to pull up stunts like that, but fair play on him. He's been surviving the rally. He's been pulling an absolutely amazing drive, and on this stage he managed to finish second, only behind Jura, who didn't send the footage, so we have nothing on him. And then we have Maria on stage 3 as well. The Aldi is still running, which is a good sign. And then he just seems like she's been having a bit of oversteer, and that kind of almost led her into the trees, but she managed to get out and continue the stage. And then she finally crosses the finish line. And then next up we have stage 4, which has been Kostanjevica to Cerkije. And you can see myself here, it's been the shortest stage in this leg. It's only 4.5 kilometers, while all the other stages have been longer than 10 kilometers. So I've been trying to drive really carefully throughout this leg to make sure that we can finish the rally. In leg 2 you'll see it didn't really turn out well, but leg 1 has been relatively solid despite the slow pace. And we have Maria again on this stage. Really fast, really confident driving. Unfortunately, it only lasted until the oversteer kicked in again. That unfortunately took her out of this leg. And next up we have another loop of Stoj Dragatu Hartje. And we have Connor, who made a little bit of a mistake in this hairpin, almost ending up going the wrong way and or hitting some spectators, but he managed to avoid that, and he just kept on driving without any serious mishap. Then we have stage 6, and we have Ian Magbanua from the Philippines, pretty far away if you ask me, quite a road to drive or fly from there to Yugoslavia, and he's actually the reigning champion of this series. He won Season 1, and now he's driving a more powerful car, the Opel Manta. It's again a Group B car, and on that stage he finished second overall, and he's having a great rally so far. Then on stage 7 we have Connor again. Again, this is a loop of Kostanjevica-Cerkia, and he's been driving pretty much flawlessly. As you can see, there's been not even a scratch on the car. And pretty fast as well for the most underpowered rear wheel drive cars. So he's been just flying through this stage. We are back with the highlights of leg 2 of the ACO rally. A quick look at the standings, and we're on the way with stage 8, and we have Al on screen right now with his Opel Ascona. He's already been collecting some super rallies, so pretty much out of contention already, and he had an early finish to this rally by throwing the car into the woods. Next up we have Ivan, who's still in contention, and he's making some changes to the trackside objects, but at least he managed to finish the stage really fast. He came second overall, which is a great result, and he's crossing the finish line. And we have Jürgen. Finally we can see him in action with the Audi Sport Quattro, and he's been in contention for the top spot for the majority of this rally, constantly finishing in the top 3. So an absolutely amazing drive and a really good battle with Dimi and Ian for the top positions. It's probably one of the most difficult cars to handle, and our drivers also had to make the tough choice with tires and setups, since we also had 2 runs of a 20 kilometers long gravel stage in the middle of this leg. Next up we have Connor, and on stage 9 we have Ivan, who started off real fast, then lost the back end and crashed the car into the fence, thus meaning the end of this rally for him. Shortly after, I followed suit, exact same spot, and I was out of the race as well. So instead we spent the majority of our time watching the others drive by and having a couple of drinks. Meanwhile, Jürgen managed to avoid that fence of death and had an overall great drive on this stage. So great, in fact, that he managed to win this stage. So absolutely first on this one. And here you can watch him entering the more tricky part of the stage. You can see the trees very close to the road, so easy to make a mistake. And he's over the finish line. And then we had stage 10, back to tarmac, and we're starting with Connor here, who's still been in contention with the Ford Escort, which is an absolutely amazing run. He finished overall 4th on the stage. Yeah, absolutely amazing result. Driving one of the weakest cars and just being there for the entirety of the rally. Next up we have Dimi, who also had an amazing drive and a majorly flawless rally. And he managed to pull this off real fast. And apart from a little bit of mistake right here, just a bit of spin, but fortunately no damage for him, or no significant damage. He managed to finish the stage. Then we have stage 11, and we're on board with Maria. It looks like some smoke is already coming out of the car, so probably not in good condition already at this point. And then to top it off, what we've seen for the majority of this rally, bit of oversteer kicks in, and unfortunately that was the end of her rally after crossing the finish line, which must have been frustrating for her. And then we have Connor again, as he's stealing the show by now, pretty much, as being one of the few people that are actually still in the race. Here we are again. We'll actually have quite a bit of Connor for the remaining couple stages. So we're back for a second run on gravel, and he actually managed to survive this as well, which is no small feat, actually pretty heroic throughout the entirety of this rally, being in contention for the podium from time to time with quite possibly the weakest car in the field. Then we have Dimi, who, apart from collecting a little damage in the front of the car and on the side, is still running fine. And we're on board with him right now as he's sliding down the hill from one hairpin to another. And it's been another amazing run for him. He finished second overall on this stage, and by this time he was in the lead by almost a minute overall. So it was looking very good for him for a rally win. Next up we have stage 14, and we're riding on board with Connor again. But this is just a very short one, so we can have a quick look. He's just flying through these flat corners. And then we have the final stage, and we're starting with Connor again. So by this time we only had 3 people remaining that didn't have any super rallies. One of them was Connor, the next one was Dimi, and Ian, which ended up being the top 3 for the rally as well, though in a different order that you'll see pretty soon. Here just a little bit of mistake, but thankfully no damage, and he's just flying away to the finish. And this is it. As you can see, Dimi won the rally, followed by Connor and Ian. So it's been an absolutely amazing event. Great job to the podium finishers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.